Today we're going to learn how to make yeast bread with the help of a bread machine. Even the most inexperienced bakers can have success and a very satisfying experience with the use of a bread machine. First thing we'll do is we'll remove the canister from the inside of the bread machine. We also want to gather all of our ingredients. We'll need sugar, salt, butter, milk, bread flour, and of course yeast. And this time we're using bread machine yeast, or a fast-acting yeast. For the milk, we need to microwave this to basically take the chill off and bring it to about 80 degrees. So we will use an instant read thermometer to make sure the temperature is no warmer than 80 degrees. Once the milk is at the right temperature, we'll pour that into the bottom of the canister. One of the things that's most important about using bread machines is to place the ingredients in the machine or the canister in the order of which they're listed in the recipe. So we'll add 2 tablespoons of butter, and then we'll add 2 tablespoons of sugar, which I've pre-measured, 1 teaspoon of salt. An accurate measurement is also very, very important. We need 3 cups of bread flour, and it's very important to measure flour correctly. We'll simply scoop it in to the measuring cup, then we'll level it off with a metal spatula. Add that to the canister. It's very important to use bread flour when making yeast bread because bread flour has more protein in it. Okay, once we have the bread flour in the canister, then last of all we'll add 1½ teaspoons of quick-acting yeast, and we'll place that right in the center of the flour. For this recipe, I used Red Star bread machine yeast. Then once that is all measured, we simply place it back into the bread machine, pushing it down to secure properly, close the lid, and at this point, you want to choose your cycle. We want the basic or traditional bread cycle for this basic white bread. It's going to take about 3 to 3½ hours. Now, if you're in a crunch for time, you might want to choose the super rapid cycle because you can have bread on the table in about 1½ to 2 hours, which is really a great convenience. The texture isn't quite as nice and light, but it's still wonderful and your family will love it. So just choose the cycle. This happens to be 1, and then we'll just hit the button and your bread has started. The bread machine then will mix the dough, then knead the dough, then it will allow the dough time to rise in the canister within the machine, and then at the appropriate time it will actually turn on the bake cycle and will bake the bread right in the canister. About 5 to 8 minutes into the cycle, you may want to check to make sure that all the flour is incorporated into the dough. Then close the lid and it will continue. After the dough has risen and right before the bake cycle kicks in, this is what it looks like inside your bread machine. See, you're a perfect baker and all you had to do was push a button. After about 3½ hours, when the bread cycle has completed, simply lift up the lid and remove the baked bread from inside. We'll simply use our pot holders to lift up the hot canister from the bread machine, and then we'll let the bread slide right out of the canister, and then we've got our hot, fresh baked bread right from the bread machine, ready for you to enjoy.